Hi, everyone. Welcome back to English with Lisa. Today, we're going to have a fun conversation about favorite books. You will learn how to talk about your favorite books, authors, and genres, and how to share your recommendations with friends. So grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's enjoy this conversation together. Hi, David. I was thinking about something fun to talk about today, and I thought we could share our favorite books because I know you enjoy reading.
Hi, Lisa. That's a great idea. I really enjoy talking about books, and I'd love to hear which books you like the most.
Great. Well, one of my favorite books is a mystery novel I read recently because the story was really exciting and I couldn't put it down until I finished it.
That sounds interesting. I also enjoy mystery novels sometimes because they keep me guessing and make me think about what will happen next.
Exactly. And I also like books that have strong characters because I enjoy following their journey and seeing how they change throughout the story.
I understand that completely. Characters are very important because they make the story feel real and help me connect with the book emotionally.
Yes. And sometimes I enjoy books that are a little funny too, because they make me laugh while still having a good story to follow.
I feel the same way. A book that is funny and interesting at the same time is always a pleasure to read.
So, David, what about you? Do you have a favorite book or a type of book you really enjoy?
Yes, one of my favorite books is a science fiction novel I read last year. I liked it because it was full of imagination and new ideas about the future.
Wow, science fiction sounds amazing. I like books that make me think about the future or different possibilities, even if I don't usually read that genre.
Exactly. Science fiction can be fun because it mixes adventure with ideas about science, technology, and the world in the future.
That's true. And I think reading different types of books is good because it helps us see the world from different perspectives.
I agree completely. Sometimes I read historical novels too, because they help me learn about the past while enjoying a story at the same time.
That's a good point. I like historical novels for the same reason, because they make me feel like I'm traveling back in time.
Yes, and even though they are stories, they often include real historical events, which makes them very educational as well.
Exactly. And I also enjoy fantasy books sometimes because they take me to a completely new world full of magic and adventure.
Oh, I love fantasy books too. They're exciting because anything can happen, and the stories are often very creative.
Yes. And even if the story is long or complicated, I enjoy following it because it feels like an adventure I'm part of.
That's true. I also like books with lots of details because they make the story feel complete, and I can imagine the world clearly in my mind.
Me too. And sometimes I like reading books that are part of a series because it's fun to follow the characters over a longer story.
Yes, series are great because I can enjoy the same characters and world for a long time, and it keeps me excited for the next book.
Exactly. And I also like books that have life lessons because they make me think about my own life while I enjoy the story.
I feel the same way. A book that teaches something while telling a story is always special.
And I often recommend my favorite books to friends because I want them to enjoy the story as much as I did.
That's a good idea. I often do the same because it's nice to share books we love and discuss them afterward.
Yes, talking about books with friends is fun because we can share our opinions and learn new ideas from each other.
I completely agree. Sometimes a friend recommends a book and it becomes one of my favorites, even if I wouldn't have picked it myself.
Exactly. And it's interesting how different people enjoy different types of books. Some like mysteries, some like fantasy, and some like biographies.
That's true. And learning what kind of books people enjoy helps me discover new books I might like too.
Yes, And I also enjoy books with beautiful writing because the way a story is told can be as important as the story itself.
Absolutely. A book with beautiful language can make reading a much richer experience.
And sometimes I like books that are short and easy to read because they are relaxing and I can finish them in a day or two.
I feel the same way. Short books are perfect when I don't have a lot of time, but I still want to enjoy a complete story.
And David, do you prefer reading physical books, like paper books, or do you like ebooks on your tablet or phone?
I enjoy both, but I like physical books more because I enjoy holding them and turning the pages. It feels more personal to me.
I agree. I like the smell of paper books and how they look on a shelf. It makes the experience of reading special.
Exactly. But ebooks are also convenient because I can carry many books at once and I can read anywhere.
Yes, that's true. Sometimes I use ebooks when I travel, but I prefer paper books at home.
Me too. And Lisa, do you have a favorite author or someone whose books you always enjoy?
Yes, I really like an author who writes mysteries with clever plots because every book surprises me in some way.
That's interesting. I also have an author I enjoy who writes fantasy stories. Every book is full of creativity and imagination.
That's wonderful. And I think it's exciting to have favorite authors because I know their books will give me a story I enjoy.
I completely agree. It's like having a trusted friend who always tells a good story.
Yes. And sometimes I reread my favorite books because I notice new details or enjoy the story all over again.
Me too. Rereading favorite books is comforting, and it's fun to remember what I liked the first time I read them.
And David, do you like reading alone or do you sometimes like to discuss books with a friend while reading?
I enjoy both, but discussing books with a friend is very interesting because I hear different opinions and ideas about the story.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things about reading with friends. It makes the experience richer and more fun.
I completely agree. And sometimes a friend recommends a book, and it becomes one of my favorites, even if I wouldn't have picked it myself.
Exactly. And it's interesting how different people enjoy different types of books. Some like mysteries, some like fantasy, and some like biographies.
That's true. And learning what kind of books people enjoy helps me discover new books I might like too.
Yes, and I also enjoy books with beautiful writing because the way a story is told can be as important as the story itself.
Absolutely. A book with beautiful language can make reading a much richer experience.
And sometimes I like books that are short and easy to read because they are relaxing and I can finish them in a day or two.
I feel the same way. Short books are perfect when I don't have a lot of time, but I still want to enjoy a complete story.
And David, do you prefer reading physical books like paper books, or do you like ebooks on your tablet or phone?
I enjoy both, but I like physical books more because I enjoy holding them and turning the pages. It feels more personal to me.
I agree. I like the smell of paper books and how they look on a shelf. It makes the experience of reading special.
Exactly. But ebooks are also convenient because I can carry many books at once and I can read anywhere.
Yes, that's true. Sometimes I use ebooks when I travel, but I prefer paper books at home.
Me too. And Lisa, do you have a favorite author or someone whose books you always enjoy?
Yes, I really like an author who writes mysteries with clever plots because every book surprises me in some way.
That's interesting. I also have an author I enjoy who writes fantasy stories. Every book is full of creativity and imagination.
That's wonderful. And I think it's exciting to have favorite authors because I know their books will give me a story I enjoy.
I completely agree. It's like having a trusted friend who always tells a good story.
Yes. And sometimes I reread my favorite books because I notice new details or enjoy the story all over again.
Me too. Rereading favorite books is comforting, and it's fun to remember what I liked the first time I read them.
And David, do you like reading alone or do you sometimes like to discuss books with a friend while reading?
I enjoy both, but discussing books with a friend is very interesting because I hear different opinions and ideas about the story.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things about reading with friends. It makes the experience richer and more fun.
I completely agree. And sometimes a friend recommends a book and it becomes one of my favorites, even if I wouldn't have picked it myself.
Exactly. And it's interesting how different people enjoy different types of books. Some like mysteries, some like fantasy, and some like biographies.
That's true. And learning what kind of books people enjoy helps me discover new books I might like too.
Yes, and I also enjoy books with beautiful writing because the way a story is told can be as important as the story itself.
Absolutely. A book with beautiful language can make reading a much richer experience.
And sometimes I like books that are short and easy to read because they are relaxing and I can finish them in a day or two.
I feel the same way. Short books are perfect when I don't have a lot of time, but I still want to enjoy a complete story.
And David, do you prefer reading physical books, like paper books, or do you like ebooks on your tablet or phone?
I enjoy both, but I like physical books more because I enjoy holding them and turning the pages. It feels more personal to me.
I agree. I like the smell of paper books and how they look on a shelf. It makes the experience of reading special.
Exactly. But ebooks are also convenient because I can carry many books at once, and I can read anywhere.
Yes, that's true. Sometimes I use ebooks when I travel, but I prefer paper books at home.
Me too. And Lisa, do you have a favorite author or someone whose books you always enjoy?
Yes, I really like an author who writes mysteries with clever plots because every book surprises me in some way.
That's interesting. I also have an author I enjoy who writes fantasy stories. Every book is full of creativity and imagination.
That's wonderful. And I think it's exciting to have favorite authors because I know their books will give me a story I enjoy.
I completely agree. It's like having a trusted friend who always tells a good story.
Yes. And sometimes I reread my favorite books because I notice new details or enjoy the story all over again.
Me too. Rereading favorite books is comforting, and it's fun to remember what I liked the first time I read them.
And David, do you like reading alone or do you sometimes like to discuss books with a friend while reading?
I enjoy both, but discussing books with a friend is very interesting because I hear different opinions and ideas about the story.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things about reading with friends. It makes the experience richer and more fun.
I completely agree. And sometimes a friend's recommendation leads me to discover a book I wouldn't have found on my own.
Yes. And even if the book is very different from what I usually read, I enjoy trying something new once in a while.
That's true. Exploring different types of books helps me learn new things and expand my imagination.
And I also like books that make me feel emotions like happiness, sadness, or excitement because they make the story memorable.
Me too. A book that touches my feelings stays with me for a long time.
Exactly. And I enjoy books that make me think, not just entertain me, because they give me new ideas or perspectives.
That's a very good point. A thoughtful book can be both enjoyable and educational. David, I'm curious. What is your all-time favorite book and why do you enjoy it so much?
That's a good question, Lisa. I think my favorite book is a science fiction novel I read last year because it made me imagine an entirely new world, and the story was full of unexpected twists.
Wow, that sounds exciting. I like books with unexpected twists because they keep me guessing and make the story more interesting.
Exactly. And I also enjoy books that make me think about different possibilities and the future because they are both entertaining and thought-provoking.
I feel the same way. And do you prefer books with action and adventure or ones that focus more on emotions and characters?
I enjoy a mix of both. Action keeps the story exciting, but I also like understanding the characters and feeling what they feel.
That's true. I also enjoy books where the characters grow or change throughout the story because they make them feel more real to me.
Yes. And I like when the author writes in a way that makes me imagine the scenes clearly, like I'm watching a movie in my mind.
I feel exactly the same. A book with detailed descriptions helps me feel like I'm really inside the story.
And what about you, Lisa? Do you like books that are easy to read, or do you prefer books that are a little challenging?
I usually like books that are easy to read but still have a good story. Sometimes challenging books are interesting too, but they can feel slow if I'm tired.
I understand. I also enjoy books that are easy to read when I want to relax, but I like more complex books when I'm ready to focus.
Yes, and I like books that make me laugh too because humor adds a lot of enjoyment to a story.
I feel the same. Funny books are always fun to read, especially after a long day when I want to relax.
And David, do you prefer reading books in a series or standalone books that are complete in one story?
I enjoy both, but I like series because I get to follow the same characters and world over a longer story.
I agree. Series are great because they allow me to connect more with the characters and see them grow over time.
And sometimes a series can surprise me with twists that I didn't expect, which makes it very exciting.
That's true. And what about genres? Do you usually read one type of book or do you like to explore different genres?
I like exploring different genres. Science fiction, fantasy, and mystery are my favorites, but I sometimes enjoy historical novels and even biographies.
That's wonderful. I like reading different genres too, because it keeps reading exciting and I discover new ideas and perspectives.
Exactly. And have you ever read a book that completely surprised you because it was different from what you expected?
Yes, once I read a book that I thought would be very simple, but the story was actually very deep and made me think about life in a new way.
That's amazing. I love books that surprise me like that because they stay in my mind long after I finish reading.
Me too. And sometimes I read books that are very emotional because I enjoy feeling the characters' experiences.
I completely understand. Books that touch emotions make reading unforgettable.
And David, do you enjoy books that teach you something like history, science, or life lessons?
Yes, I like those books because I feel like I'm learning while enjoying a story. It makes reading more meaningful.
I feel the same way. A book that is both fun and educational is always special.
And what about short books versus long books? Do you prefer one over the other?
I usually like medium-length books because they're long enough to enjoy a story but not too long that I feel overwhelmed.
I agree, but sometimes long books are exciting because they allow me to spend more time in the story world.
That's true. And do you like reading the same book more than once?
Yes, rereading a favorite book is always fun because I notice new details and enjoy the story all over again. Me too. It's comforting and enjoyable to return to a story I love.
And Lisa, do you like discussing books with friends while reading them, or do you prefer reading alone?
I enjoy both, but discussing books with friends is fun because we can share opinions and discover different points of view.
I feel the same way. A book discussion often helps me understand the story better and see things I didn't notice.
And do you sometimes recommend your favorite books to friends?
Yes, I like recommending books because it's exciting when friends enjoy the same stories I love.
I completely agree. Sharing books with friends makes reading even more enjoyable.
And David, do you enjoy books with illustrations or do you prefer books with only text?
I usually prefer text-only books because I like imagining the scenes in my own way, but illustrations can be fun sometimes.
I agree. Illustrations are nice, but I enjoy creating images in my mind while reading.
And what about book endings? Do you like happy endings or do you enjoy sad or open endings too?
I enjoy happy endings most, but a sad or a thoughtful ending can be very powerful and make the book memorable.
That's true. A book that makes me think after I finish it is one I will remember for a long time.
Exactly. And do you enjoy classic books or do you prefer modern stories?
I enjoy both. Classic books are interesting because they show the culture and ideas of the past, while modern books are fun because they feel more relatable.
I feel the same. And sometimes reading classic books helps me appreciate how stories and writing styles have changed over time.
That's very true. And do you like reading books in your native language, or do you also read books in English?
I enjoy both, but reading in English is exciting because it helps me improve my language skills while enjoying the story.
I completely agree. Reading in English is a great way to learn new words and phrases naturally.
And sometimes I find words in books that I don't know, and I enjoy learning them because it helps me express myself better in English.
That's a great point. And what about book formats? Do you like paper books, ebooks, or audiobooks?
I enjoy paper books the most because I like holding them and turning pages, but ebooks are convenient and audiobooks are great when I'm busy.
I agree. Each format has its own advantages depending on the situation.
And Lisa, do you like books with many chapters or shorter chapters that are easy to read in small parts?
I like shorter chapters because I can take breaks easily, but longer chapters are good when I want to immerse myself in the story.
That's very true. And do you prefer books with one narrator or multiple narrators telling the story?
I enjoy both, but multiple narrators can be exciting because I get to see the story from different perspectives.
I feel the same way. Different narrators make the story more dynamic and interesting because each character shares their thoughts.
And David, do you like books that mix genres like romance with mystery or fantasy with adventure?
Yes, I enjoy mixed genres because they keep me surprised and make the story more unique.
That's true. And David, what about books that are based on real events or people? Do you enjoy those too?
Yes, I do. Books based on real events are very educational and can be just as exciting as fictional stories.
I agree. They often make me think about real life while enjoying the story. David, I'm curious, who is your favorite author and why do you enjoy their books so much?
That's a good question, Lisa. I really enjoy a science fiction author because their books are full of imagination, interesting ideas, and exciting adventures.
That sounds amazing. I like authors who can create new worlds and make me feel like I'm part of the story.
Exactly. And I also enjoy authors who write in a way that makes the characters feel real, like I can understand their feelings and thoughts.
I completely agree. A good author can make me care about the characters, which makes the story more enjoyable.
And what about you, Lisa? Do you have a favorite author whose books you always enjoy reading?
Yes, I really like a mystery author because every book is full of suspense, clever plots, and surprising endings.
That's wonderful. I enjoy reading mystery novels too because they keep me guessing until the very end.
Exactly. And I also enjoy authors who write in a funny way because they make me laugh while still telling a good story.
I feel the same way. Humor in a book can make reading even more enjoyable, especially after a long day.
And I like authors who have a unique style because it makes the story feel special and memorable.
Yes, a unique style helps the book stand out and makes me remember it for a long time.
And David, do you prefer authors who write long, detailed books or shorter, easier to read books?
I enjoy both. Long books are immersive and allow me to spend more time in the story, but shorter books are perfect when I want a quick read.
I agree. Both have their advantages depending on how much time I have and what I want from the story.
And I also enjoy reading different genres because each one offers a different experience, like fantasy for imagination or history for learning.
That's very true. And I like exploring new genres because I often discover books I didn't expect to enjoy.
Exactly. And have you ever tried reading a genre you normally don't like just to see if you might enjoy it?
Yes, once I read a science fiction book, even though I usually prefer mysteries, and I ended up loving it.
That's great. I think trying new genres is a fun way to expand our reading experiences.
And what about authors from different countries? Do you enjoy reading books written by international authors?
Yes, reading books from different countries helps me learn about different cultures, ideas, and ways of thinking.
I completely agree. And sometimes the way an author from another country tells a story is very different from what I'm used to, which makes it interesting.
Exactly. And do you enjoy authors who focus on real-life stories like biographies or memoirs, or do you prefer fictional stories?
I like both. Biographies are interesting because I can learn about real people, but fictional stories are fun because they take me to a different world.
That's true. And sometimes fictional stories can also teach important lessons, just like real-life stories.
Yes. And David, do you have a favorite genre that you always go back to, like fantasy, mystery, or romance?
I enjoy science fiction the most because I like imagining new worlds and thinking about the future. But I also enjoy fantasy sometimes.
That sounds exciting. I love fantasy because it's full of magic, adventure, and creativity.
And I also like books that mix genres, like a mystery with a little romance or a fantasy with action.
I feel the same way. Mixed genres make the story unpredictable and more exciting.
And do you prefer books with a single narrator or multiple narrators telling different parts of the story?
I enjoy both, but multiple narrators can be fun because I get different points of view and see the story from different angles.
I completely agree. Multiple narrators make the story dynamic and interesting because each character shares their thoughts.
And David, do you enjoy authors who write in simple, easy-to-read language, or do you like books that use more complex words?
I enjoy a mix. Simple language is relaxing and easy to follow, but sometimes complex words make the story richer and more engaging.
That's true. And sometimes complex words teach me new ways to express myself in English.
Exactly. And I also like authors who describe the setting in detail because it helps me imagine the story world clearly.
I completely agree. Detailed descriptions make the story more vivid and immersive.
And do you enjoy books that are realistic with believable events, or books that are completely fantastical and imaginative?
I like both. Realistic books feel close to life, while fantastical books allow me to escape and imagine new possibilities.
That's very true. And do you enjoy authors who write long series or standalone books that are complete in one story?
I enjoy both. Series are fun because I follow characters for a long time, but standalone books are perfect when I want a complete story in one read.
I feel the same way. And what about authors who write with humor? Do you enjoy books that are funny, or do you prefer serious stories?
I enjoy both, but a funny book is always fun to read because it makes me laugh and feel happy.
Exactly. And do you like authors who focus on emotions, like love, friendship, or family? Or do you prefer adventure and action?
I like both. Emotional stories make me feel connected to the characters, while adventure stories are exciting and full of surprises.
I agree completely. And sometimes a book can have both, which makes it very enjoyable.
Yes. And do you enjoy classic authors like Shakespeare or Jane Austen, or modern authors who write contemporary stories?
I enjoy both. Classics are interesting because they show the culture and ideas of the past, while modern books feel more relatable.
That's very true. And sometimes reading classics helps me appreciate how writing styles and storytelling have changed over time.
Exactly. And do you enjoy authors who write short, quick chapters, or long chapters that allow you to get fully immersed?
I like shorter chapters because I can read in small parts, but long chapters are great when I want to get lost in the story.
I feel the same. And do you enjoy authors who focus on one main character, or do you like stories with multiple important characters?
I like both, but multiple characters can make the story more interesting because I can see the story from different perspectives.
I completely agree. And do you enjoy authors who include illustrations or pictures, or do you prefer text-only books?
I usually prefer text-only books because I enjoy imagining the scenes myself, but illustrations can be fun sometimes.
Yes, illustrations add a visual element, but imagining the story in my mind is always exciting.
And David, do you enjoy authors who write happy endings, or do you like books with sad or open endings too?
I usually prefer happy endings, but a sad or thoughtful ending can make the book very memorable.
That's true. A story that makes me think or feel emotions deeply is one I will remember for a long time. And David, since we both enjoy reading, I was thinking it would be fun to recommend some of our favorite books to each other.
That sounds like a great idea, Lisa. I'd love to hear your recommendations and maybe find a new book to read.
Perfect. Well, one book I really enjoyed recently is a mystery novel because the plot was clever and I couldn't guess the ending until the last page.
That sounds amazing. I love books that keep me guessing and make me think about all the possibilities.
Exactly. And another book I really liked is a fantasy novel because the story was full of magic, adventure, and creative ideas that made me feel like I was in a different world.
Wow, that sounds exciting. I enjoy fantasy books too because they allow me to imagine things that are impossible in real life.
Yes. And I also recommend a short, inspirational book I read because it had simple language but taught important life lessons.
That's wonderful. I like books that teach something meaningful while still being enjoyable to read.
And David, do you have a book you'd like to recommend to me?
Yes, I recently read a science fiction book that I think you would enjoy. The story is full of imagination and the characters are very interesting.
That sounds perfect. I like books that have creative ideas and characters I can connect with.
And another book I recommend is a historical novel. It tells a story about the past while keeping me interested in the characters and events.
I love historical novels. They're interesting because I can learn about history while enjoying a story.
Exactly. And I also enjoyed a mystery series recently because each book had clever puzzles, and I couldn't stop reading until I solved them.
That sounds so fun. I enjoy mystery series too because they keep me excited for the next book.
And sometimes I like to recommend books that are a little funny because humor makes reading even more enjoyable.
I completely agree. Funny books are great because they make me laugh and feel happy while reading. And David, do you prefer books that are long with lots of chapters or short, easy to read books?
I like both, but I usually enjoy medium-length books because they're long enough to enjoy the story, but not too long that I feel overwhelmed.
That makes sense. I feel the same way. Short books are perfect when I want a quick read, and long books are great when I have more time to get lost in the story.
And I think sharing our favorite books with each other is a fun way to discover new stories that we might not have picked ourselves.
Exactly. Sometimes a friend's recommendation introduces me to a book I never would have found on my own.
And it's interesting to hear why someone enjoys a book because it helps me understand the story in a new way.
I completely agree. Hearing other people's opinions makes me notice details that I might have missed.
And David, do you like books that are part of a series or do you prefer standalone books?
I enjoy both. Series are great because I can follow the characters for a long time, but standalone books are perfect when I want a complete story in one read.
That's true.
And sometimes a series can surprise me with twists I didn't expect, which makes it very exciting.
Yes. And I also like books that mix genres, like adventure with romance or fantasy with mystery, because they keep the story unpredictable.
I feel the same way. Mixed genres make the story more interesting and fun to read.
And do you enjoy books that are realistic, or do you prefer stories that are completely imaginative?
I like both. Realistic books feel close to life, while fantastical books allow me to escape and imagine new possibilities.
That's true. And I also enjoy books that make me feel emotions like happiness, sadness, or excitement because they stay in my memory longer.
I completely agree. Emotional books are memorable because they make me feel connected to the story and characters.
And Lisa, do you like authors who write simple, easy to read books, or do you enjoy books with complex language?
I enjoy both. Simple books are relaxing and easy to follow, while complex books can be very rich and engaging.
I feel the same way. And sometimes challenging books help me learn new words and ideas, which is great for improving English.
That's very true. And David, do you prefer physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks?
I enjoy physical books the most because I like holding them and turning the pages. But ebooks are convenient and audiobooks are perfect when I'm busy.
I agree. Each format has its advantages depending on the situation.
And Lisa, do you like recommending books to friends?
Yes, I enjoy recommending books because it's fun to see friends enjoy the same stories I love.
I feel the same way. Sharing books with friends makes reading even more enjoyable and fun.
And sometimes discussing a book with a friend helps me understand the story better and notice details I might have missed.
Exactly. And I enjoy hearing different opinions because it gives me new ideas about the book and the characters.
And David, do you like books with happy endings, sad endings, or open endings?
I usually prefer happy endings, but sad or open endings can be very powerful and memorable.
That's true. A book that makes me think or feel emotions deeply is one I will remember for a long time.
And I also like books that teach lessons or ideas about life while still being entertaining.
Me too. Learning something new from a story makes the reading experience even better.
And what about your favorite genre to recommend to friends? Do you usually suggest mystery, fantasy, or something else?
I usually recommend books that I think will interest the person I'm sharing with. If they like mysteries, I recommend a clever mystery. If they enjoy fantasy, I suggest an imaginative story.
That's smart. Tailoring recommendations makes it more likely that my friends will enjoy the book.
And sometimes I even recommend short, easy-to-read books because they're perfect for friends who don't have a lot of time to read.
That's a great idea. Short books can be very satisfying and enjoyable, and they give a sense of accomplishment.
And David, do you ever read a book more than once? And if so, why?
Yes, I reread books I really enjoy because I notice new details and can experience the story in a new way.
Me too. Rereading favorite books is comforting and makes me appreciate the story even more.
And sharing books with friends or family can also lead to interesting discussions about different ideas or perspectives.
I completely agree. It's amazing how the same book can feel different when someone else shares their thoughts about it.
Exactly, and sometimes a friend's recommendation leads me to a book I never would have discovered myself.
That's true. And discussing books also helps me remember the story better because talking about it reinforces the details.
I feel the same way, and recommending books is also a way of sharing a part of myself with others because I show what I enjoy.
Absolutely. And reading books recommended by friends helps me expand my tastes and explore new genres of authors I wouldn't normally read.
That's very true. And I think recommending books is also a great way to encourage friends to read more, which is always a good thing.
Yes, and even if a friend doesn't like a book I recommend, it's still fun to talk about why we had different opinions.
I completely agree. Different opinions make conversations about books very interesting and thought-provoking.
And finally, David,
Do you think it's important to read a variety of books, or is it okay to stick to one favorite genre?
I think both are fine, but reading a variety of books helps me learn new ideas, explore different perspectives, and enjoy a richer reading experience.
I agree completely. Variety in reading is exciting because I can discover books I never imagined I would enjoy.
David, it has been so much fun talking about our favorite books, authors, and genres today, and I feel like I've discovered so many new ideas for my next read.
I completely agree, Lisa. Talking about books and sharing recommendations with you has given me many exciting ideas and reminded me why I love reading so much.
And I hope everyone watching this video also feels inspired to talk about books with friends or family, because it can be really fun and helpful.
Absolutely. Discussing books with others allows us to see different perspectives, notice details we might have missed, and discover books we might never have chosen on our own.
And even if you're shy at first, starting with simple questions like, what is your favorite book? Or which author do you like most? Is a great way to begin a conversation.
That's very true. Those questions are easy to ask, and they often lead to interesting discussions that can last a long time.
And remember, when you recommend a book to a friend, it's not just about the story itself. It's about sharing a part of yourself and what you enjoy.
I completely agree. Recommending a book is a way to connect with someone and share something meaningful in a fun and simple way.
And it's also okay if your friend doesn't like the book you recommend. Sometimes different opinions make the conversation even more interesting.
Exactly. Everyone has their own taste in books, and sharing opinions is part of the fun.
And for viewers, I encourage you to start small by asking one question about books today, and then gradually share your own favorites and opinions.
That's very true. Practicing these conversations in English is a great way to improve your speaking skills while talking about something enjoyable.
Absolutely. You can use phrases like, I enjoy reading, my favorite author is, or I recommend this book because, to practice speaking naturally.
And viewers, you can also try writing your favorite books or authors in a notebook and then share them with a friend or family member.
Yes, writing your ideas first can make it easier to express them verbally and build your confidence for real conversations.
And don't forget, reading books in English can also help you learn new words and phrases while enjoying a story.
That's a great point. When you find a new word in a book, try using it in your own sentences or conversations to remember it better.
And it's also fun to compare books from different genres like mystery, fantasy, or historical novels because each one gives a different reading experience.
Absolutely. Exploring different genres helps you understand what you enjoy the most and keeps reading exciting.
And viewers, if you ever feel stuck or unsure what to say, you can simply start by asking someone, have you read any good books recently?
That's a perfect starting point. It's simple, natural, and usually leads to a fun and interesting conversation.
And it's also nice to ask why they liked a book because it gives you more ideas about their interests and helps the conversation continue.
I completely agree. Asking, why did you enjoy it? Or what was your favorite part? Shows interest and keeps the discussion flowing.
And for English learners, practicing conversations about books is a gentle way to learn new words without feeling overwhelmed.
Yes, talking about something you enjoy, like books, makes learning English more enjoyable and natural.
And remember, everyone makes mistakes while learning, and that's completely okay. What matters is that you keep trying and practicing.
Absolutely. Mistakes are part of learning, and each mistake is an opportunity to improve.
And I encourage viewers to set a small goal today, like sharing one book recommendation with a friend or family member.
That's a great idea. Small steps like this help you build confidence and make English practice a fun habit.
And it's also rewarding to see how your friend reacts when you share a book you love. Sometimes it leads to long conversations and new friendships.
Yes, sharing books and talking about reading can be a way to connect with others and enjoy meaningful conversations.
And viewers, don't forget that every conversation, no matter how short, is a chance to practice your English and improve a little more each time.
Exactly. Consistent practice, even in small amounts, will help you speak more fluently and feel more comfortable in English.
And remember, the phrases and sentences we use today, like my favorite book is, or I recommend this book because, are easy to use in real conversations.
Yes, try to use them when talking to friends, classmates, or family. The more you use them, the more natural they will feel.
And viewers, you can also try asking others about their favorite authors or genres because you might discover a book you never knew about.
Absolutely. Recommendations from friends often introduce the best books and make reading even more enjoyable.
And even if you are shy, you can start by asking simple questions or sharing one of your favorite books, and gradually the conversation will grow naturally.
Yes, taking small steps is the key. Each conversation builds your confidence and helps you enjoy English more.
And don't forget, the most important thing is to enjoy reading and talking about books. English practice becomes easier when it's fun.
Exactly. If you enjoy what you're talking about, speaking English feels natural and exciting.
And viewers, you can also write a list of your favorite books, authors, or genres and use it to start conversations with friends.
That's a great idea. Having a list ready makes it easier to express your thoughts and share your opinions.
And remember, sharing opinions about books is a wonderful way to practice English because it uses real-life conversation skills.
Absolutely. Talking about something you love is always motivating and helps you speak more confidently.
And I encourage viewers to keep practicing, even if it's just a few sentences every day, because consistency is key.
That's very true. Practicing a little every day will help you speak English more naturally and confidently over time.
And finally, don't forget to enjoy the process. Reading, talking about books, and sharing recommendations should always be fun and rewarding.
Yes, English practice can be exciting when it's connected to things you love, like books, hobbies, and conversations with friends.
And thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you feel motivated to talk about books, share your favorites, and have fun practicing English.
Absolutely. Keep exploring new books, asking questions, and sharing your thoughts, and your English will improve more and more each day.
And remember, every conversation is a step forward, and every book you read is an opportunity to learn, imagine, and enjoy.
Yes. So let's all keep reading, talking, and sharing our love for books, because learning English can be fun, exciting, and rewarding.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video for more conversations, tips, and fun English practice.
Goodbye, and happy reading and learning, everyone.
Thank you so much for watching today. We hope you enjoyed talking about favorite books and got some ideas for your next conversation.
Remember, practicing English every day, even a little, will help you speak more confidently and naturally.
So, keep reading, sharing your thoughts, and having fun with English. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to English with Lisa for more conversations and tips.
Yes, keep learning, stay motivated, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy reading and happy learning.